Coach Brian here. Wanted to talk a little bit about Monday's accessory work we had. We had some tempo squats, a 3 second eccentric portion of the squat, so lowering it down for 3 seconds and then exploding out of the bottom of that squat. I wanted to give you a little bit about the reasoning behind that, why we have it programmed, and the benefits you can get from these tempo, slow, eccentric type squats. First thing I want to note is we are coming off of a powerlifting cycle, so we were deadlifting, back squatting, overhead squatting, front squatting, bench pressing, hitting a lot of these heavy lifts, and we were trying to get stronger through heavy weights. We were doing heavy fives, fours, threes, and twos, and then hitting with some max effort sets to finish it off. And we were trying to get stronger by putting as much load on our back. This is different. We're getting stronger not just by having a heavy load, because we're going slower, we can't have as heavy load, so now we're moderately as heavy. But to increase the stimulus, we're actually slowing down the eccentrics so the muscles have more time under tension. That time under tension forces those muscles to grow and developing the strength capacities to lift heavier weights. Not only are we building those strength capacities, that muscular structure, we're doing that while not putting as much tension on the ligaments and tendons. When we lift heavy, we're working on heavy 5x5 or heavy fours or threes, whatever that might be. We're putting a lot of stress on the muscle, and the muscle can handle that stress because we get a lot of blood to that muscle and it helps it recover. But the ligaments and tendons, those don't get a natural blood supply coming to them. So it takes them much longer to adapt. So if we had kept on this powerlifting cycle month after month after month, we might still be getting stronger, but our tendons and ligaments would not be adapting to that stress and eventually would break down. By working now in this tempo kind of style of lifting, we're still building strength, but we're giving those tendons and ligaments a little bit of a break and allowing them to catch up. So we're developing those supporting structures. Other reasons we like it: improving technique. There is, particularly with squatting, there is a real technique to squatting. I know recently on Friday or Thursday we did box squats. I think people were really surprised how much we really emphasized the technique of sitting our hips back. By slowing down that eccentric, we get to really focus on our technique. Are my hips driving back? Are my knees going out? Are my lats engaged and pulled down? Am I staying on my heels? Do I have stiffness through the midline? Because now this set of three is taking 3 seconds on the way down. Now we're talking about 9 to 10 seconds where I'm really concentrating on that movement. So it allows me to really kind of work on that, work on those different positions. You often will see, and you'll see this especially with younger athletes, where they have that immediately, they just kind of drop, like they let their hamstrings drop and they just collapse to the bottom of the squat, hope to bounce out of it and get out of the hole. And that's not great. That's not great for your body. That's not great for your ligaments, your tendons, but also it's not great for your technique. When we see that, we start seeing chest rounding forward. We see collapsing in the knees driving forward, the pelvis rolling under. So by slowing that tempo down, we kind of avoid those technique errors. We start refining that technique. It allows us to feel the movement. It allows us to feel the different muscles that are being used. I know when I did it, when I'm going in that descent, I can really feel in my hamstrings, feeling all that tension. As I get rolling to the bottom, I feel my glutes having to turn on. And then once I drive out, then I have to use everything to punch myself out of the hole. We get a lot better kinesthetic awareness of where our body is. There's less stress on the nervous system. I don't have to put as much load on my back, so it's not stressing my nervous system nearly as much. It's just a lot better for the nervous system. The reason that's particularly important to us is we're focusing on the Olympic lifts. Now, when we talk about nervous system stress, we're talking about how quickly our muscles can contract on a demand. If you think about our Olympic lifts, we need that contraction to be as quickly as possible. We're not just looking for strength, but we're looking for speed. This allows my nervous system to be a little more rested, a little more under control. So we save that capacity for when we hit the Olympic lifts later in the week. And finally, and this is probably the most important point, is we're doing this to get stronger. We're hitting the muscles in a very different way with a different stimulus, and changing that stimulus up will help us get stronger. It's just in a different way. Um, Time and attention has always been used. It's been used by Olympic lifters, power lifters, bodybuilders. They know that this has a lot of real great power in developing strength. So we want to be able to get that. Particularly, why I really think it's very powerful is it kind of helps us shore up those weak links. Meaning that as I'm descending slowly through a squat, there might be a period where I'm weaker, maybe in the bottom third of the movement. Because I'm in this slowly go through that, I'm developing strength in that lower in those positions. Um, in those positions. The classic example of that is when you squat, you come to the bottom of the squat, I'm coming all the way down. It's about to go up, you go to about 1/3 and you kind of hit that sticking point. Well, here, as I'm slowing that eccentric down, I'm really pushing that sticking point on developing strength in that position. And that will hopefully translate into bigger squat numbers in the future. So that's a little bit of why we're doing tempo squats. Look for lots of different other protocols, lots of other different tempos. We're also going to be talking about holding different positions. We'll talk about something called a 1 1/4 squat in the future. There are lots of different things we're going to be doing in the future, so be ready for them. So that's it.